Hey there, it's Crystal Lopez here from crystalandcomp.com, and today I'm going to show you how we make Italian subs at home using deli meat, fresh from the deli, some fresh vegetables, and some other really delicious stuff. You're going to love it, and you're going to want to make this. We made this the other day after church and hosted some people at our house. It was incredible. So I do want to tell you that at the end of this video, we are going to show you some of Lenny's personal footage that he took. Later this same day, after we made these sandwiches, he ran to Hunt, which is where the flooding has happened here in Texas, and we're going to give you some of his point of view of what he has seen. So that'll be at the end of this video. The first thing you're going to want to do is grab a purple onion, and you can either slice it into rings or just slice it into like strips. I did the strips, and my knife that I love has gotten really dull. We need to sharpen it. I noticed the other day how dull that knife was getting, and it used to be like so sharp it could just slice through a piece of paper. And I don't know if it's from, we used it a couple of times on the glass cutting board, and I feel like the glass cutting board dulled it. I don't know. Crazy. But then I'm watching this back and I'm seeing how much I was struggling to cut this onion. Anyway, all right. So get a purple onion. We're going to slice it up, and those are going to go on sandwiches. One of the great things about this sandwich is it's customizable. So if somebody doesn't want this or that on it, they don't have to have it on there. We're also going to cut up some tomatoes and some lettuce, and then we will start building the sandwiches. All right, so Lenny is actually eating real quick. He is eating some of the tuna pasta salad that I had made a few days before. I made it for lunch, and I make a big batch of it, and then we can eat it for multiple days. And this was something that was just super easy. It keeps very well in the fridge, and it was super easy to just pull out. You don't even heat it up, you eat it cold. He's eating that because even though we have friends coming over to have lunch, he is only going to be home for about 45 minutes, and then he's got to head out because he is going with some members from our church to Kerrville, which is where all of the flooding occurred just a few days prior. And they are taking a barbecue pit and a bunch of food, and they are going to feed the recovery teams and the volunteers that are out there. Um, Man, it is something. I'm sure you guys are watching the news, and I also think there's a lot of misinformation out there, unfortunately, and just some, it's just a very difficult, and very sad, very devastating situation. But he shared some footage with me that he said I could share with you guys, and I'll share that at the end. At this point, it's been a somber couple of days because where all of that transpired was just about 45 minutes from our house. And man, it had been on our minds and on our hearts, and we had been praying about it for days. Um, just really bad. Anyway, um, so we had invited some folks over from church to have lunch with us. They were not going with him um, to Kerrville, but we wanted to. The day before, I had gone to HEB and had bought some lunch meats so that I could make these Italian subs. And I thought, there's plenty. And why don't we have some friends over? And my mom and my niece were at the house. And I thought this would be a very easy thing to feed, um, to offer to our friends after church instead of going to a restaurant. And man, these sandwiches were absolutely delicious. So here's what I'm putting on them. I got extra sharp provolone, and I had them slice it super thin. And then you need a ham. So this is all over in the deli section. This time I got honey maple ham, but black forest ham is really probably the best. And I get it, I don't want it shaved, but I want it very, very thin. And then I did get some turkey. I got you can either get oven roasted or honey roasted, or really whatever you like turkey wise. You could even get the peppered turkey. That would be pretty yummy. Whatever your family will eat. And I'm just layering all of that on here. And then that one lunch meat that looked kind of like a loaf, that is mortadella. I think that's how you say it, mortadella. And I'm going to look it up real quick. It is so delicious. It actually has little slivers of pistachio in it and little slivers of fruit. Um, Let me look this up real quick and I can tell you a little bit about it. It's so yummy. So it's mortadella, Mortadella, and it's Italian sausage. Um, kind of in the bologna family, which is like, but um, it has berries, peppercorns, and pistachios in it. And it is actually really good. And it's really great to also put on a charcuterie board. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? Then you can also do, like I've shown you here, we did tomato and lettuce for those that want it. Pepperoncinis for those who want it is good. This particular sandwich, I think, has mustard on it. I had bought, you can see there on the counter, laying on its side, right by where I'm at right there, is some uh, garlic infused mayonnaise. It's like an Olay. That was really delicious on some of the sandwiches. And then I'm also serving some of our leftover potato salad that I had made a few days before. That's my mother's potato salad recipe. And as you know, my mom is visiting right now. She's here for 3 weeks with my niece. And I did not record us making that potato salad, but if we make it again while she's here, and it's very possible we will, because I've got some potatoes that I bought on sale at HEB for $1.49 for a 5-pound bag. Potato salad is just such a nice alternative way to use up your potatoes as a side that's not the same old thing. I feel like we eat a lot of baked potatoes. I feel like we eat a lot of mashed potatoes. Not that we eat a lot of them, but that seems to be my go-to when I'm cooking potatoes. And yeah, doing potato salad is great, and it's something that you can store for days in the refrigerator, and it tastes just as good as the day you made it, if not better. So if we make it again while she's here, I will record it. I regret not recording it the day that I made that batch. It was so delicious. Really good. My mom has made potato salad like I just remember that being one of the things that she makes for special occasions. So it's really yummy. So some of us had potato salad with our sandwiches, and you could also have some of the tuna pasta salad as well, or chips. I had some chips and dip, or nothing. Just have the sandwich by itself. So something else that I put on top of these sandwiches is some fresh cracked pepper and a little bit of salt if people wanted that. And then also some Italian seasoning, just a couple of shakes of Italian seasoning. And that's our friend, and one of our friends that came over for lunch. Um, and then also some red wine vinegar and some olive oil. Now, not everybody wanted all of those things on their sandwich. This is a lot to put on one sandwich, but put it all on there. It's so delicious. And you can do this in whatever order you want to do it in. Some people like to have the salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning um, on top of the tomato and lettuce and not on top of the meat, but that's your choice. And then we also had, I forgot to mention this, dry salami. So we actually bought is it Genoa salami? I think it's Genoa, I think is how you pronounce it. And it's just a dry salami. It's a really mild dry salami. You can honestly use whichever one you want. But we also like to take this, and Lenny will use it in breakfast and like use it with eggs, or put it in tortillas with eggs, and just kind of use it to elevate something that he makes for breakfast for the kids. Just think of it as, it's something you could put in a sandwich. It's something you could use at lunchtime. It's something you could use, cut it up and put it in um like a pasta or homemade pizza. You could also use it on a charcuterie board, or find creative ways to use it up in breakfast, elevated breakfast ideas. So Lenny is super creative when it comes to that. So I always know like our lunch meats are going to go quickly, especially the turkey and the ham. Um, and the salami may not go as fast, but we find other creative ways to use it. So you also may have noticed that cheese, it was sliced so thin that it just kind of stuck to the paper, and I could peel it off of the paper, and there were 3 very thin rounds on the paper, and that was enough to just turn over and lay it onto the sandwich. So each sandwich has 3 pieces of cheese that are very thinly sliced, and it's that sharp provolone. If your deli doesn't have sharp provolone, then you can just get regular provolone or whatever cheese you like. It doesn't matter. And then I grabbed some hoagies. Our HEB has you can buy hoagies by the individual, or you can buy them in packs of 4, and they're just an alternative way to have a delicious sandwich. Even if you're not having Italian subs, you can also take these, and before you put the veggies on it, you can toast them in your air fryer or in your oven really quickly. Jack really loves toasted sandwiches. So that is an alternative or another way to do this sandwich as well. And then once it's done, you can put your lettuce and tomato on it, pepperoncinis, onions, what have you. So super, super delicious. And Lenny keeps going back and forth. He's making coffee for everybody. We're not using the dishwasher right now because my mom is here and she's all about washing dishes by hand. So you see all the dishes on the counter back there. That's what she likes to do. So that's what we're doing. But also, my dishwasher has been giving an error lately anyway, and Lenny just hasn't had time to look at it, but it can still be used. It just gives this annoying error towards the end of the cycle. Anyway, so sandwiches, delicious. Give these a try. I think your family would really, really like them. If you like sandwiches and you like these kinds of meats, I think you would really find it delicious. And if you try it, let me know. Let me know what you think. Okay, so I've told you at the beginning of this video and a couple of times during the video that Lenny is getting ready to leave. He's going to be heading out to where the flooding has happened here in Texas. This was on Sunday, as I said, after church. I can see my husband being antsy. He's making coffee for everybody. He's trying to keep himself busy because he knows that he needs to leave in the next, at this point, probably 30, 20 minutes to leave to head out to meet folks from our church. And so he brought that footage home to me. None of it is it's all footage that is appropriate to share with you guys. But I'm gonna end this portion of the video here where we're making the sandwiches, and Lenny and I are gonna share Lenny's perspective of what he has seen when going to, is it Hunt County? That's correct. He
Kerr
went
County.
Kerr County. Okay, sorry.
Hunt's a little further down,
All right. Um,
but it's Guadalupe and it's Ingram City.
along the Guadalupe River. So, guys, if you want to see people that live here in Texas, how
Our
what our
perspective.
point of view is, this is Lenny's point of view. All right, you guys, I've got my husband here, and this is footage that he took on Sunday. So this would have been 2 days after all of the flooding. And this is actually at an RV park, is that right? That is right there on the Guadalupe River. So sorry.
And you can see the horseback,
Yeah.
the riders. They're from all over Texas, from Dallas, Fort Worth, to Austin, Amarillo, and so many beautiful people. Now we have all these helicopters from Blackhawks to even the Coast Guard was there. They have Chinooks, you know, the National Guard, things like that. It's just
So people came in with their horses. Like, this is something, I'm sure your community is like this as well. When something happens, everybody just kind of comes together. So they knew that people that had horses could come in and really help with recovery and searching. And that's what's happening here, right?
right.
And then this is just kind of a hub where everybody's coming together to get food. And so since the church had gone,
That's the Coast Guard right there.
oh, okay. So there were other people that had other churches and other organizations that had set up with food as well. Actually, HEB, which is the grocery store that you hear me talk about a lot in my grocery hauls, they did a whole caravan, and they have a whole disaster relief team. I could be saying that wrong, but it's the equivalent of a disaster relief group of people that come together and go feed people and help and provide, toiletries and things like that. So, um, someone actually took Lenny along and just kind of showed them the property and showed them their point of view, being someone, this guy has lived out there for 15 years, you said?
Yeah, it's somewhere between 13 and 15 years. He's never seen it like this. He's seen. Now you got to remember this flood, they say 100-year flood, 500-year. Now, this is one of those 1,000-year floods. Super enormous. I mean, it's just unbelievable that this can happen and catch people off guard. You figured um, this was about what 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. People are asleep, and it rose so fast. There's no warning. I mean, even if you had time to just say, "Hey, get over here," it was in a wall of water, and you could see that that car was pushed. That those cement pillars of the actual tabletops and things like that were all scooted up. That trailer that's just floating down, and it was on the other side.
Oh, really?
Uh, and
Interesting.
it just now those other ones made it. He was showing me this area. Now
So,
these guys, that's a spotter right there.
so basically, this area has already been looked over, and they're there to say this is a marker to say that this area has been looked over, and they're there to what?
Yeah, and
Just
these guys go in, do more detail. They're cutting up some branches so this way
got
they
it.
could bring in some other equipment to actually move stuff over.
So all of this was completely underwater, correct?
Oh, further back where that vehicle was. I
Was
mean, it
all
was
underwater.
even further than that.
I'm just amazed that at 2 days late, 2 days later, the water is still moving that fast. Now, here's something else that's really important for everybody to understand. And I don't know where you're at, if you what you're hearing about all of this, but um, we have been in a pretty heavy drought here. So like in the Austin area, they've stopped, some areas have stopped building homes because there's such a water shortage or a water drought. Um, the many of the bodies of water, like the lakes and whatnot, we've not been able to put boats in the water this summer because the water levels are so low.
That's absolutely correct. There's some of the lakes like Canyon Lake, um, was it Medina Lake? They're like 45 to 50% low. I mean, it was bad.
Well, and it makes me wonder how much did that drought impact the way that the soil wasn't able to withstand
Absorbed
and
the water
absorb.
fast enough. It
Exactly,
just,
exactly. So I can tell you guys, I'm going to say this, I just want to talk about this really quickly. When I was a kid in 1989, our family was in a flood that brought 8 feet plus of water. We lived in a trailer park, like, and things changed and moved very quickly. So my mom woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, thought she heard water. She got out of bed, there was nothing was going on. She went back to bed, woke up an hour later, and she was standing in water up to her knees. And by the time that she got to my bedroom, it was to her waist. And like bookshelves are falling on us. It was insane how quickly this stuff happens, right? Um, I I experienced that. And so I know how fast this stuff changes and how quickly this water situation goes from nothing, from 0 to 60, right? And this just reminds me so much of that. I'm gonna find a clip for
yeah,
you
and this
guys.
wasn't 0 to 60. I mean,
Yeah,
this was 0 to 1,000.
I know. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna find a newspaper clipping of our family back in 1989. My dad was actually in the
Uh,
newspaper over it. But seeing these cars and seeing all of this, that is what we experienced as well. Like our car was down the street, and there were multiple families impacted by this, a whole community as well. But anyway, um, yeah, this is just wild. It's so crazy to see all of this. So that's our pastor and his wife, and they're there just, you know, I guess just learning more and
Yeah, they were
asking how they can
conferring
help.
with the head guy that's with that small crew, but logistically, volunteers are coming from all over, right?
Hmm,
And
hmm.
so they have to figure out the best places for them to go and start, clearing out spaces so this way the heavy equipment could go in there. But you have the spotters from up above, and uh, there will be a Chinook that comes through uh, shortly above them, and they're spotting all the way up and down the river because this river goes so far that you'll have debris coming into San Antonio. I mean, it's
Right.
that far. There's the
And
Chinook right there, and if you look in the very back there, there's a guy. It's almost like a tailgate to a truck, and he's just hanging, looking down.
yeah.
It's just that simple. But those Chinooks, when they come down, they can actually hover above that water.
Oh, how close did they get?
Well, they got pretty close. They came down a few times. So even with that, the Black Hawk or even the Coast Guard, when they do it, um, they have those heat-seeking
Oh, yeah, detectors.
detectors and things like that. Now, um, they can see a lot. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So
So tell us why. So the Black Hawk and the Chinook and all of that, they're going over, and there
they
are,
have to repeat it over and over, going up and down, up and because they found people waving in the trees to
yeah.
75 feet up in the air.
The Guadalupe River is 250 miles long. So it goes from Kerrville all the way to the Gulf Coast. And this is a long, long river. I mean, yeah. So these guys that are in the Chinook, they're going to land in just a minute.
Not the
And
Chinook, the
oh,
Black Hawk
the
will
Black Hawk,
come down.
sorry. Okay. I just can't get over how fast that water is moving when it was probably almost dry
And you know what? And
before.
you see how fast it's moving now. Okay. Now, you still have debris right there
Hmm.
from stuff, but when you could just think of it when it hit like a wall of water and it was just like super fast. So that's why they call it flash floods because
Hmm.
it's like a flash.
Hmm.
So it happens really quickly. And I used an analogy of, let's say, a person skiing, and then they're in the mountain, and all of a sudden an avalanche happens, and so you have that fast moving body of snow, and then he can't keep up, and then it just covers him. Well, think of it this way: a body of water coming out at a super fast pace, where there's nowhere to go, and unbelievable. You can look at these guys coming off the Black Hawk, and they're the coolest. I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm 58, and I thought these guys were just so awesome, man. They get off that Black Hawk, and they start running over, and they didn't even know the people, but they heard, I guess, that there was some food, and some water, and this is their relief time, and they go over and they give these people just hugs, and you can only imagine the love and respect and the hero they are. I mean, just like unbelievable. They just go into the disaster area.
Yeah, you told me they were ending their shift,
Yeah.
and so they were coming to eat as well. This guy's face I've seen everywhere on Facebook. He has an organization that I Lenny, he gave you this card, and we think
Yeah.
he is the founder, but I guess there wasn't a long conversation about
Well,
all of
I know
that.
he's retired, right? And then they called him up and said, "Hey, bud, he was part of this super team that they have here in the area, and they're like, we need some help." And he's like, "Right on." He just where when,
Right.
and jumped on, and he's actually he'll be heading up to Washington D.C. and doing some things over there and part of a program there, and then
So the name of his organization, I know I put it on the screen already, but just to say it again, Heroes for Humanity, and the website is theheroesforhumanity.org.
okay, just imagine this though. He gets off that helicopter and he comes over, and on his uniform part in the very front of his pack, it says Christ is King.
Hmm.
I
That's
mean, these
awesome.
guys are faith based, and so we're we're going further down, and we're looking at the devastation, and it was like you see the power it had to pull up those trees.
Oh
Look at
my
that! It's
goodness.
just unbelievable. But then we have these reporters showing the devastation also, and just how much it just the power of the water.
My goodness. Totally crazy. Totally
And
crazy.
those are the big spruce trees that are rooted.
Hmm.
So the power it had to pull a lot of those, and the skin. I mean, look at that. It's just
Wow.
pulls them up, and then it was skinning them.
Wow.
It's
Ripping the
crazy.
bark right off.
Yeah, just
Wow.
and the water, of course. Look at all that, just all the way up, and that
It made that crater in the ground.
I don't know. I really don't, but you could see where that container. It was way on the other side.
The screen container,
Uh huh.
and it moved it.
I think they call them Connex containers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that has stuff in it, so it was like pretty
Full
heavy.
of stuff.
It's like
And then
yeah,
these are just like rental
and
cabins.
it bordered right there where that debris was. It stopped. He told me, and it fell along that area also.
What, the green?
The water
Oh, the
where the
water.
water
The water
is
ended up.
crested. Yeah.
So the water did not, in
No.
this particular area, the water did not get up to
No.
these.
No.
Got it. Oh my
So.
goodness. Guys,
And they were full. They were 100%. There was
at capacity,
a full capacity.
really.
We're coming up, and they're relaxed, and we
And these
they're
are
cooking,
families
and
that are there and
yeah,
they're eating
they
and
didn't know them. They took pictures with them, and um, they were high fiving and talking to them, and so respectful and so
yeah,
just awesome.
yeah. All right, guys. Just keep Kerrville and that entire community in your prayers and keep Texas in your
That's a city
prayers.
of Ingram right there.
Ingram is where you
Yes,
guys were.
yeah,
Ingram,
county of
Texas.
Kerr County.
Okay. So this is about 45 miles or so from our house. Um, and
And right behind our house, about not even 20 minutes from here, you have uh, the same river.
yeah, the Guadalupe is
The
not far
Guadalupe
from
just
us.
keeps
Hmm.
on going.
Yeah, like I said, it goes far, 250 miles. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. We just feel like we're here. This is our state. This is, we are here. And this is the point of view of someone who's not a reporter, who has gone and seen the devastation. And oh gosh, it's just so
All we can say is
heartbreaking.
God bless Texas
Yes,
and the heroes we have here. Also,
yes,
it's amazing. People come from all over to help, and we all appreciate it. We
yes,
we really do.
for sure. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I don't always share things that are this devastating. But I really felt like we needed to share this. So,
Especially since it's in our backyard.
exactly. All right, you guys. God bless and God bless Texas, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.